I see my men have finally found you something appropriate to wear.
Yes, most kind of them.
When King Robb left Harrenhal, his mother was his prisoner. If she wasn't his mother, he'd have hanged her for treason. I should send you back to Robb Stark.
You should. But instead, you're sitting here, watching me fail at dinner. I'll make you pay the most. If we found out you'd captured me and send me back up north for a summer execution.
You're right. Perhaps the safest thing to do is to kill you both and burn your bodies.
It would be, if you honestly believed my father would never find out about it.
As soon as you're well enough to travel, I will allow you to go to King's Landing as restitution for the mistakes my soldiers made.
My lady, may our journey continue without further incident.
Oh, she won't be going with you.
I'm afraid I must insist.
You're in no place to insist on anything. I would have hoped you'd learned your lesson about overplaying your position.
Impossible.
Why?
My grandson is the pride of High Garden, the most desirable bachelor in all 7 kingdoms. Your daughter
Is rich, the most beautiful woman in all 7 kingdoms.
old. I'm something of an expert on the subject. Her change will be upon her before long. I'll spare you the details of what will happen then.
My stomach remains quite strong, however. The only thing that might turn it are details of your grandson's nocturnal activities. Do you deny them?
Oh, not at all. A sword swallower through and through. Did you grow up with boy cousins, Lord Tywin? Sons of your father's bannermen, squires, stable boys?
Of course.
And you never...
No.
Not once? Not in any way?
Never.
Brothers and sisters. Where I come from, that stain would be very difficult to wash out.
I will not breathe further life into a malicious lie by discussing it.
Lie or not, you must admit many people find it quite convincing. Convincing enough to put swords in their hands and send them off to kill Lannisters and Tyrells, thanks to our new affiliation. And if Cersei is too old to give Laura's children, we're throwing another prize flower into the dirt. It is a chance we simply cannot take.
If you refuse to marry Loras to Cersei, I will name him to the King's Guard. So, shall I draw up the order? Or do you consent to this match?
Uh-oh.
We gotta call them loose!
Ah, fuck. I think he wanted an excuse to do that.
I'm your family. A member of your family who's actively contributed to that family's survival.
If it weren't for your trick with the wildfire, Stannis would have sacked the city before Father got here.
Trying to have me killed is an odd way of saying thank you. There are two people in King's Landing who can give an order to a King's Guard. Did you, or did you not, order Sir Mandan to kill me during the Battle of the Blackwater?
Well, that says it all, doesn't it?
He hates me because I'm the only one who tells him what he really is. But the king orders a King's Guard to murder the Hand of the King in full view of his own army. The boy's an idiot.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to tell me if my life is still in danger.
Probably. But not from Joffrey. He won't do anything now Father's here. Joffrey will belong to Marjorie, the little doe-eyed whore. And so will his children and their children. History will be taken from our hands.
Once Jaime gets back, Sir Loras may come down with a terrible case of sword through bowels. Jaime or not, I'm truly fucked.
Lady Sansa, Lord Tyrion to see you. Should I?
I beg your pardon, my lady.
Good afternoon, Lord Tyrion. I was just trying on a gown for King Joffrey's wedding.
Yes, it should be quite a wedding. I need to speak with you, Lady Sansa.
Of course.
Alone, if I may.
Why do you need to speak to her alone? Shay? Please excuse her, Lord Tyrion. She's not from here. But I...
Sometimes we think we want to hear something, and it's only afterwards, when it's too late, that we realize we wished we'd heard it under entirely different circumstances.
It's all right, really.
How to begin?
Ugly old thing. Yet it has a certain appeal. The
Yeah,
life
I
of
agree.
Anne of
It is
Chairs.
very ugly.
Shame you had to settle for your second choice. You feeling such dread at the prospect of me getting what I want. Thwarting you has never been my primary ambition, I promise you. Although who doesn't like to see their friends fail now and then?
You're so right. For instance, when I thwarted your plan to give Sansa Stark to the Tyrells, I'm going to be honest, I did feel an unmistakable sense of enjoyment there.
But your confidant, the one who fed you information about my plans, the one you swore to protect, you didn't bring her any enjoyment. And she didn't bring me any enjoyment. She was a bad investment on my part. Luckily, I have a friend who wants to try something new.
Oh, he's not killed her.
Something daring. I did what I did for the good of the realm. The realm? Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agreed to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie. Many who try to climb it fail and never get to try again.
Oh no.
The fall breaks them. And some are given a chance to climb, but they refuse. Only the ladder is real. The climb is all there is.
Hey, George. That was a good episode. Oh, that was a really good episode. A lot of information in that. The way I kind of saw this episode was it was like hope versus doom, in a way, like with Sam and Jon, you know, they've found their love, which is almost like you could see that as a new beginning. And then you've got Sansa, Cersei, and Tyrion, and they're kind of like doomed, aren't they? Sort of like forced to marry. Yeah, yeah, very good episode. So yeah, let's go through it. You had Sam and Gilly in the beginning. Again, it just shows, you know, what a good guy Sam is. He just sees the positive in everything. He had no clue of how to sort out the fire, and Gilly had to sort of tell him, you know, what to do, and he was, you know, oh wow, this is great. So I kind of see them as a new beginning, new hope kind of thing. Yeah, I hope they make it, and I kind of have a feeling that Ghost is going to come and protect them. Yeah, it would make sense to me because Sam has a bit of a relationship with Ghost because he was close to Jon, and yeah, Ghost has been around him a few times. So yeah, I think Ghost is going to be sort of part of their little group. Then you had Osha, obviously feeling like was it Georgian? His sister is a bit of competition. There's a bit of jealousy, isn't it? It's just bickering, isn't it? And I think Bran made a very good point that Osha, you know, was basically threatening him, and they were okay. Their relationship was okay. So you know, she just got to snap out of it and behave herself. I love that. And then you saw Georgian. I'm probably saying the name wrong, but you know, there you go. He saw Jon Snow on the wrong side of the wall, which is very interesting. So it's almost like I would imagine them two together can sort of keep track of everybody and yeah, find them. I mean, surely if they can see through, you know, animals' eyes and that, that's what they're going to be able to do, and then find each other somehow. That'd be good to see if that was going to happen. Then you had Thoros, Beric, the priestess, and Arya, and that. I think they like Arya, the Brotherhood. You know, they were sort of teaching her how to you know, do the archery correctly. Yeah, I think they're good guys. I think they're coming from a good place and not just fighting for a side. Like they're having to fight for a side. They're actually fighting for what they believe in and not what they're kind of forced to do, if that makes sense. So yeah, the priestess came in, and it turns out that Thoros, yeah, he was a priest. He didn't actually believe in it until Beric died, and he came back to life. He knows the old Valyrian language, which the priestess does as well. So yeah, I'm a bit confused with that, but yeah, obviously they wanted Gendry, and I think that's I'm confused with that. But don't tell me this bit. I think they want Gendry because he's the Baratheon, probably the only Baratheon left. But she said it was the Lord of Light who wanted him. Because I was thinking that maybe Stannis obviously wants to be a king, but I suppose Gendry would be first in line. Well, he would be king, wouldn't he? Because he's Robert's offspring, which makes Stannis the second in line. Oh, it's so confusing, but yeah, it seems like it's the priestess, it's their religion or whatever that wants Gendry, not Stannis, from what I can understand. So yeah, that bit is confusing, but yeah, I mean, we will see what happens. Yeah, very good. I love that. That sort of puts a spanner in the works, doesn't it? And then you obviously saw Jon and Yvette and the lot climbing the wall. She's like almost like Shay, isn't she? A bit possessive now that they have had sex. Basically, he belongs to her, and I think they're obviously falling in love, aren't they? So he can't be a Night's Watch, can he now? He's got to choose one or the other, and I don't know whether he is actually going to choose her. I would think he would, but I don't know. I'm going to have to wait and see, but yeah, I mean, I think they are in love, definitely, so we'll see what happens there. I think overall, when all the sort of ice came down on them, I think he just wanted an excuse to sort of try and get Jon killed. He doesn't like Jon whatsoever. I think that was made pretty clear. So, any excuse. But obviously they made it, so yeah. Then you had that boy torturing Theon. I can't work him out, and obviously don't tell me anything about this, but yeah, I don't know who he is or where they are, which makes this a bit freaky. He's definitely a psycho, isn't he? Yeah, him and Joffrey, I think, would be really good friends, wouldn't they? Both absolutely psychotic and cruel. Yeah, I feel really bad for Theon. I was quite mad at him, but you know, this is nobody deserves that. Obviously, he's been struggling with who he is and his identity and who he belongs to, and came to the realization that, you know, he was a Stark, but it's too late. And yeah, I don't know who this guy is, but we'll see. But yeah, the whole tearing the little finger. Oh no, yeah, I would be begging as well. Just cut it off, you know. Oh no. So yeah, I can't wait to find out who this guy is and where he's held. Theon prisoner. I can't wait for that reveal, so that's going to be good. Then you had Robb and the Freys, and that. Yeah, I think it was a thing that his uncle was going to have to marry one of Frey's daughters, wasn't he? That's the least he could do with the mess up he did. You know, sort of. Letting the mountain go, not letting him go, but messing that whole, yeah, messing it up basically. Yeah, it's not really much more to say about that scene. Definitely think Robb, yeah, was right that, you know, this guy's going to have to marry the Freys to get the Freys on their side. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, that his uncle's dad agreed that, you know, yeah, he needs to step up because he fucked up and can't have that, so you got to do what it takes basically. So there's not much to say about that scene, but yeah, I think it was an important scene because we need to get the Freys on Robb's side to yeah, make the attack, and obviously it's the attack on Casterly Rock, isn't it? So yeah, I can't wait to see that. Then you had Jaime, Bolton and Brienne. It shouldn't be funny, but yeah, Jaime struggling to eat, and then Brienne's like, you know, I've had enough of this, you know, here you go. Almost like, you know, babying him, I suppose, in a way. Yeah, obviously Bolton, yeah, he's quite not happy, but he'll send Jaime on his way to King's Landing. As long as he tells his dad that Bolton had nothing to do with the fact that he lost his hand, and yeah. Jaime wanted Brienne to come with him, but Bolton was like, no, that's not going to happen, so I don't know. Yeah, I really like Brienne and Jaime together, so I hope she is gonna go with him, but we'll see. Then we had Olenna and Tywin, and I've kind of been waiting for that sort of showdown. they're both very strong-minded. They both have a lot of power, and both very sneaky, I think. So it was quite interesting to see who was going to get the upper hand on this occasion. And yeah, Tywin was basically threatening her, wasn't he? And she was just like, I don't care what you say, and she just sort of broke the quill, I think it was. Yeah. So yeah. I think they're both stubborn and that, aren't they? And yes, he sort of was trying to shame her, but basically by what your your grandson gets up to, he's basically gay, and she was like, well, have you never? And he was like, hell no, have I not? Which was quite funny, and she basically just threw it back in his face like, well, the rumors about your son and your daughter, she was not scared of him whatsoever, which I quite liked, and I think she kind of got the upper hand in the end, didn't she? That's how it came across anyway, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. Then you had Sansa and Loras. He just basically saying what she wants to hear, isn't he? Because he was, about the wedding and all that, and then obviously he forgot the bride, which, he would do. He's not interested in girls, is he? So yeah, the bride is something he would forget. I thought it was quite a funny scene, quite a sweet scene, and just basically giving Sansa a lot of hope, isn't it? Yeah. And then you had Tyrion and Cersei. They're obviously feeling sorry for each other, well, for themselves, aren't they? And that's basically what that was, isn't it? But obviously with Tyrion trying to find out if Cersei was the one who tried to have him killed. And please tell me this bit, because that confused me, because it sounded to me like she knew about it, but it wasn't her order, it was Joffrey's order. It was Joffrey who wanted Tyrion dead. Am I right in thinking that? Just, yeah, I need to know this one. So, yeah, you can answer that question, please. But, yeah, that's how it came across, that it was Joffrey who wanted Tyrion dead. And I can sort of see why, because I suppose Tyrion in Joffrey's eyes has been a bit of a pain in the ass and sort of basically humiliated Joffrey. So, yeah. Yeah, then you had the Tyrion, Sansa and Shae, where he had to tell Sansa that, what his orders were, and obviously he doesn't want Shae around when having to say that, does he? Because that's going to be a big blow for Shae as well, isn't it? And I feel so bad for them all, for all of them. Obviously, Shae and Tyrion are in love, and Sansa has this sort of she's picturing her dream wedding and her dream guy, isn't he? And that's just coming crushing down on her. So yeah, I felt really bad for all three in that. I could see Shae get very pissed off with Tywin, and who knows what's going to happen there. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, because she's quite possessive, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I feel so bad for these guys, it's just awful. Then you had the Littlefinger and Varys. That was quite a scary scene, I thought. It was sort of like they were having a bit of a chat, and then it just turned dark, didn't it? Littlefinger's very switched on, and he's dangerous. He's probably one of the most dangerous guys in this show, I think. Turned out that, he knew all along that Ross sort of been playing him, and I suppose playing... no, I think she has just been playing Littlefinger, because she's sort of been spying on Littlefinger for Varys, and I think she's more on Varys and his side than on Littlefinger. Obviously, she told Sansa not to trust Littlefinger, and and it turned out that he's basically sold her to Joffrey, who then had some archery practice and killed her, which again shows what psychotic sadist he is. Yeah, I liked Ross, I really liked her, and I thought she was going to become an important character in the show, but she's no more, so yeah, I feel really bad for that. You can see Varys as well, was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, come on. So yeah, he's Littlefinger is one to look out for, isn't he? And you saw as well Sansa standing there by the harbour, was it? Saw the ship go, and that was obviously her ticket out, and now she's forced to marry Tyrion, and obviously, understandably, very upset. So yeah, I feel so bad for this girl. I think out of all of the Starks, she's had the worst. She's had it worse. Then you had the end with Jon and Ygritte making it up to the top of the wall, and then seeing Ygritte. I would imagine Ygritte seeing the South for the first time, and they clearly like each other, and that's obviously why he couldn't kill her. That's why she wasn't killed off when he was ordered to. So yeah, I kind of see him and Sam as sort of like the hope of the show in a way, and it was a very good episode. I can't believe I've missed this show. Like, I know my husband watched it way back when it was on, and I just had no interest in it whatsoever because I thought it's just some sort of stupid period drama, which is clearly not. And I'm definitely missing out. And it's quite funny because a few of my colleagues, or friends as well, they've watched the show. And I come into work very excited about talking about what I've watched, and they're just sort of like looking at me in like panic because they don't want to say anything, they don't want to give anything away, but it's they're just standing there like not saying anything. It's like yeah. So obviously they're rooting for my reactions. So it's quite fun, but it's a very one-sided conversation about it, and they're just sort of like giving me looks and that. So that was this episode. My top 5. Number 1 is Sam. I just love this guy. He's so innocent, and there's not a bad bone in his body, and I just love it. He's just good with everybody and just sees the positive in everything. So Sam is my number 1 guy. Number 2 is Jon, which it's a bit of a surprise, isn't it? Because I've not been happy with him for a long time, but he's coming around now, and I thought he was very good in this episode. He's struggling with a lot of things, I think, and I think Ygritte, I think she's good for him. So Jon's my number 2. He's coming around, and And number 3 is Tyrion. I feel so bad for this guy. He's such a good guy. He's got a good heart as well. I think he knows how to play the game, but I think he is a good guy. I think so. It's just heartbreaking him having to tell Sansa in front of Shay, what the plan is, and I feel so bad for this guy. And then obviously, he's struggling with the fact that who tried to kill him, and then he finds out that I think it was Joffrey who basically gave the order to kill him. My number 4 is Sansa. Again, she's very excited about marrying Loras, marrying into the Tyrell family. But she had a crush on him in season 1 as well. So it's just so heartbreaking that you saw it at the end how devastated she was with not only Littlefinger's ship going without her, but she's been told now that she's gonna have to marry Tyrion, which she obviously doesn't want to. So she's pretty screwed, isn't she? And I feel so bad for her. So something good is gonna have to come her way, surely. I'm hoping, but we'll see. Number 5 is Olenna. I love but the conversation with Tywin, and she's not afraid of him, and he was sort of trying to shame her, and she was like, well, throwing it right back in his face, and I loved that. So yeah, you go, Alana. The bottom 5, number 1 is Tywin. I mean, he's just an absolute asshole. He's got no heart whatsoever. He just wants power, and that's all it is. He doesn't care about his kids, you know. He's just an absolute horrible person. So yeah, he's my number 1. Number 2 is Littlefinger. He's just as dangerous as Tywin, I think. He doesn't have as much power, but maybe he does, because he's sort of sneaky about it, isn't he? So yeah, Littlefinger having Ross killed. Yeah, I hate this guy. Number 3 is the boy. He doesn't have a name, but I'm assuming at some point it's gonna be revealed. So yeah, don't tell me. But yeah, him torturing Theon. Yeah, he's kind of Joffrey level of cruelty, isn't he? So yeah, I don't like this guy. You know, I was hoping, he was Theon's sister's guy, and then it turned out it's not. So yeah, I can't wait to find out who this guy is. And obviously, I'm thinking, karma's gonna come around, and can't wait to see that. Number 4 is Orell. I think him cutting off the rope, I think he wanted to do that. He wanted an excuse to get rid of Jon Snow, and yeah, I don't like him. He's very sneaky, and which he would be if the wildlings were like the heroes, and you saw it from that side, then yeah, he probably did do the right thing. But yeah, not for me. I don't like this guy. He's sneaky, and obviously he wants to get rid of Jon, so we can't have that, because Jon is one of our heroes. So yeah. Number 5 is Joffrey. I mean, it was only a little scene, but it's the cruelty and the sadistic sort of nature that he has. Making Ross a target practice and then killing her that way, a psycho. So yeah, that was my top and bottom 5. Very good episode, and I can't wait to get stuck into the next one. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just want to thank you guys for subscribing and commenting and that. I haven't responded to all of it because I've been busy with doing other stuff, but I do love it and I do read it, so thank you guys very much. It means a lot to have that sort of relationship, and yeah, I got Patreon, like I said. If you'd like to see the full reactions, you get a bit more out of it, I think, but you don't have to. It's there if you would like. And yeah, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next episode.